Hello everyone, this is Lawrence Lucas. I am shooting a video of my vinyl room for my Vinyl Music Junkie YouTube page. And this room here is my little castle, my man cave. It went through a lot of changes, a lot of evolutions to where it is today. But I'm very happy with it, and I'm very happy to show it off. This is the second floor of the house. This is the addition of the house, and you can see I put it to good use. I've been collecting records since I was 8 years old, and went to the CDs for the time and back to records. And once I got this room going, I set up the vinyl room. Here, this rack right here is where I have all of my records of rock, pop, rock and pop music, top 40 stuff, and all of that. They start here and go this way. Over here, this is a shelving unit I got from the Goodwill for $6 and something. It needed a little tender loving care and some support in the back, but it's a excellent shelving for albums as well. And here, this part of the shelving unit up through here and through here is all my jazz albums, and I got them properly labeled. Over on this row is what I call the classic vocal period, the Frank Sinatras, the Dean Martins, the Sammy Davis Jr., the Tony Bennett's, and some of the lesser known artists. And then we go into the great female vocalists of that era, the Billie Holidays, the Sarah Vaughan, the Diane Washington, and so on. Most of these are actually thrift store purchases, which that type of music was pretty available, pretty abundant for a time. And then this unit is so cool because I can plump on here recent album releases. You could display albums as well. So I got the new Lucinda Williams album, the debut album from Logan Ledger, the sophomore release from Ada Victoria, if I pronounced her first name right, the new album by, and I'm going to really mess up on his name, Michael Kayauka, a later day Willie Nelson album, new artist, folk artist, Ian No, a John Coltrane album, the Claypool Lennon project, don't know how to pronounce that word, South of Reality, and a newer artist who kind of specializes in old style Western music, Coulter Wall. So you got some new stuff there. Over here is my wonderful stereo system. I got two turntables. I got a late 80s Techniques, which I brought from my old supervisor, and of course it needed a preamp for it because my amplifier did not have a phono selection. They pretty much did away with those in the late 80s. I have a Newmark turntable that has the USB capability. Then the centerpiece, the Sherwood Newcastle, which I got at the thrift store for $40, and it retailed for $1,700. I was able to test it out at the thrift stores because they let me bring in a speaker and a wire and a little Discman, so it works fine. And I got really high quality CD player there. So CD player, the Sherwood amp were thrift store purchases. So this is a nice setup here. Over here, I will show you my speaker system. These are early 80 Pioneer SX4Gs. And once I lift this up, you're going to really see the good high quality of how they're built, okay? And damn solid, because it doesn't sound hollow. I can't quite get my knuckles on there. These were very renowned bookshelf speakers for their day, and I got them at a thrift store. I got 2 of them mounted here for $40. $40, and they in beautiful condition. So they've spaced out about 5 feet apart here. And the way I set up the stereo system, I have a friend who's an audiophile person, and he knows how to set up a stereo system, where to place these speakers and all of that. So he did that for me, and he made a decision that it's best for, instead of them being up like tower, for them to be the way they are, with the subwoofer being here and the other one being there, instead of like a tower setup. And here are the settings right here. And so these are very good speakers. And I got some rock books here. Okay, so I showed you my stereo, my shelving, my shelving unit, and what's in there. And the last part, we're going into the more decorative here. I want to focus on this wall here, and we got a theme going on here. These are I was talking about the classic vocal period of the 1940s and 50s, and even into the 30s, of the great vocalists, the all time, the Billie Holidays, the Ella Fitzgerald, the Edith Piaf, Dinah Washington, Keely Smith, Ostro Alberto, if I pronounce her first name right, and Chris Connor, who's not as well known. And I have an album by a new artist who falls in that category, Alana, and I went to see one of her shows. She was opening for another act, and she did a meet and greet with the audience. So I brought her album, and she signed it for me. I Rose Like the Morning Sun. I had her right on there because it's a lyric line to one of the songs, and she said, "Thank you, Lawrence," and very gracefully signed it. What was so cool is I actually paid her the money for the album, you know, so that's cool. And then over on this wall, sticking with the same theme, we got the classic vocalists from that period. Of course, the grandfather of them all, Bing Crosby, and Nat King Cole, Frank Sinatra, Tony Bennett, a little bit of newer generation, Johnny Mattis, and one of the greatest vocal group ever, the Mills Brothers. And I got, this is a Memphis cheap knockoff hollow body guitar, so I got that on there, you know, and a couple other instruments. So if we stand right here, you get a good shot right there of it. Now, also included with the stereo system, and this piece is right here. This is a subwoofer, which was another thrift store purchase I got for 40 bucks. This gives you the good bass, the boom boom sound. You could feel the walls vibrate, but prior to not having this, I just didn't have that good strong bass sound. Now I do. Now I don't crank the bass up. I'm not one of these big bass people, but it does give the sound some the bottom, the boom boom bottom. Oh, let me show you this. I'm gonna pull this out. This is really cool. This is a 1950s album stand. Okay, about 2 years ago, I brought a bunch of jazz albums from a friend, and he threw this in as well. So this is a 1950s style album holder, and I keep it right here in the corner. And if I go to the thrift store and buy a bunch of albums, this is where I put them into. I can put them on the log sheet, on the Excel spreadsheet, play them, and then incorporate them into the library. So I really like that. So I got my lava lamps up here, and over here where I'm pointing are in album frames are newer artists, a group called Temples. Valerie June, which she signs that autograph. I saw her about a year ago. She did meet and greet. Brittany Howard, her new album, debut album, First Aid Kit, Ruins. Athea's, if I pronounced her name correctly, her first name, Kaya. Okay, I'm horrible at pronouncing name. That album is signed as well. She opened for Rihanna Giddens at a show I attended, and after her set, I went to the concession stand. I talked to her a little bit. I was so impressed with her. It's one of those rare times where I was really impressed with an opening act, and so we had a little conversation. She signed the album. And then Rihanna Giddens herself, I really like that album cover. I think it's really neat. Okay, we'll focus over this area here. Of course, I'm a big CD collector. I sort of jumped on the bandwagon when CDs first came out. Fortunately, I didn't get rid of my albums. I said I better keep them. So I did. I put them in storage, and then when the vinyl thing came back, I took them out of storage and set up the vinyl room. But here are my CD collections, and I have these really nice cabinets, which I brought at the one of the big chain music stores before they closed. I got a good price on them. So I have all my rock and pop in this area, and up here, more rock and pop, but here we go into the jazz stuff, the blues stuff, the country stuff, and we're going to run the camera here to get images. Those are little box sets. And two of my best CD values, Django Reinhardt. He's the legendary gypsy jazz guitarist from the 1930s and 40s. He is very renowned, especially among rock guitarists too. He's always, whenever they do a poll of the best guitarists of all time, he's always included here. And him and his partner Stephanie Graffel, who plays the violin, what a team they were. This is a 5 CD set of their best recordings from the 1930s and 40s. And in recent times, I'm able to pick up some really good CDs at thrift stores. This is a Artie Shaw box set of 5 CDs put out by Blue Note. Really good high quality stuff. Up here is a display of Command Records. Now, Command Records is they have a history unto themselves, and I will do a video on Command Records, but in short, they experimented with the stereo sound when stereo first came up upon the scene. They did something called ping pong stereo, where the sound of an instrument will bounce back and forth from one channel to the other. It's really cool. Command Records, if you see any Command Records at thrift stores and they're in excellent condition, buy them. You may not like the music, but you will marvel at the sound quality and the experimentation in stereo sound. Also, they were famous for their artwork with shapes, like you see here, geographic shapes. Right there, right there, right there. And again, I'll do a full video. And I'm able to find stuff at thrift stores, you know, like this Nevada box set, which is cool. So, album display on the wall is a big part of my vinyl room. Here, the idea, okay, I got these clocks up there and I got to reset them. The idea is to put at the bottom like 4 major music cities like San Francisco, Liverpool, Memphis, New Orleans. You know, I haven't picked them yet. And set the time for the time those cities are in at that right now, okay? And I got a little record, Euphoria, Good Vibes Only. This is an original Woodstock Music Festival live edition, $1.25. It's been reproduced through the years, but that's the original first edition. So I think I paid $10 for that at a garage sale one time. And of course, I got the went to Barnes & Noble, buy some albums, and they gave me this really cool bag. So I got that display there. Lava lamps up here. My little Elvis. Where's my, oh. Lava lamps. Strobe light. This is an old can of anti-static record cleaner from the early 70s, and I don't use this on my records. I have a friend said, don't use this, it's crap, but I just keep it up here for display. I got my guitar amp and a case that holds a brass instrument. So this completes this part of the vinyl room tour. I don't know how we're doing on time, but we'll finish it up over here, and I'm gonna move the light up here.
We're at 19 minutes.
19 minutes. And so this is the second part of the room, okay? An extension of the vinyl room. Here, part of the, you know, decorative, I've got in frame my Beatles White Album poster. Some Time, Cream magazine, and Spin magazine of major rock stars. Elton John, Captain Fantastic, when he made the cover of the magazine in '75, he was at the height of his popularity. And an old Cream of Elton again. I'm a big Elton fan. Bruce Springsteen. There's one thing I forgot to show on that side, but we'll get to that. We'll do that. We'll close that out with that. Lucky find there, the garage sale of Springsteen, the new sensation, and U2. And I got to get rid of this broom. It shouldn't even be here. We'll just set it here for now. So I got that part decorative. I got a old guitar right here. Another theme, we're going into more of the classic rock period here, so the classic vocals from the 1930s and 40s, okay? This is a 180 gram reissue of Buddy Holly's music. Oh, that sounds wonderful. That out of this world. This is a Sunday's reissue of Bob Dylan's Highway 61 Revisited. Reissue of Hendrix Are You Experience, reissue of the Beatles For Sale, reissue of Pet Sounds, all on 180 gram vinyl. The only thing that's not reissue are the Linda Ronstadt, Janis Joplin, and Grateful Dead, American Beauty. Those were thrift store finds, but very good thrift store finds. You're not finding any more, okay, for various reasons. Got an Elvis Presley Boulevard sign up here. Continuing the theme, this is all classic rock album covers from the 70s. I know Let It Bleed and Morrison Hotel, they were more late 60s, so I thought that would kind of usher in the 70s with Carole King, Fleetwood Mac, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, Wings, Paul McCartney, Wings, Band on the Run, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, and Who's Next? Okay, so that's a theme. Got Elvis up there. Got a little jukebox that actually plays. Pretty cool. A little cassette player. Now, right here, I have my country albums. I know when you mention country, that's like the cockroaches scattering when you turn on the lights, but I'm a big country music fan and I understand it. I don't like modern day pop country. I despise it. But I like the old traditional country, and there's newer country artists who are bringing back the traditions. One of those artists, Logan Ledger, I showed his album there. So that's another video I can do right there. Got all the old classic country and bluegrass stuff in there. Over here, the more shelving that I put in, and this rack right here is all soul music, funk, R&B. You got the Isley Brothers. I'm just going to pull out some randomly. More Isley Brothers. Marvin Gaye. You know, you get the idea. Prince, Commodores, Rita Franklin, the whole 9 yards, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Here are my compilation albums, okay? This is one K-Tail 22 record set, all original hits, Disco Fire. This is a great album. I like compilations because you get an assortment of artists, and one of my videos recently was the Lost Leader series, so check out that video on what this is about. And you know, you find stuff like Solid Gold, you know, all the big hits. So that's very cool, and I'll show you one more or two more. British Gold, and this is a Time Life. This is good quality stuff. 1958, all the big hits there. Let me put these back. Here is really cool instrumental music, from surf music just to pull one out. You know, artists who played just instrumental music. The Martin Denny's, the Exotica stuff. Down here is more instrumental music, but this is more like granny type of instrumental music, the Lawrence Welks and all that, which I'm not going to go into. And I got some other stuff in here. Right here is my folk music collection. Judy Collins Book of the Month Club Records, a 4 CD set, album set of her stuff along with booklet. Here I've got all of the pop music from the 1960s and 70s, like the Carpenters, Neil Diamond, who else? Let me throw on my glasses real quick. The Barry Manilow's, that's kind of a guilty pleasure. Ricky Nelson, Paul Revere and the Raiders, who don't quite fit in the other room with the rock music of the 70s and 80s. The Johnny Nash, you get the idea. Here I have what I call Latin pop.
27 minutes.
Okay, the Herb Alberts stuff. Are Sergio Montes and the Brazilian 66. Isn't that a cool cover? Herb Albert, Tijuana Brass, and what I just showed you, and other stuff. Anything that's Latin. Here I got some oddity stuff, which I won't go into right now. This is my Command record collection, and duplicates are down there. So we're running a little short on time. Here I have these JBL monitor floor speakers. Of course, I got them up. I got these speakers from my former supervisor for $300. He called me up and said, I want to get rid of them. Give me a price. So I offered him $300. And they're wonderful speakers. So I'm not going into how they, how they look. Got Rock and Roll Library here, and these are pretty sturdy stands. Okay, let's conclude. I forgot to show you these racks here. These are little units like this, but they got these cool really dividers, okay? And this is where I keep my new vinyl, the newer vinyl I buy, the 180 gram type of stuff, or the reissue on that format, and newer artists as well. And so I keep those up here, and the divider part kind of ends right here. They don't have dividers here. I keep these specially over this area. I don't incorporate them with the regular vinyl. I keep these separate, and I keep my new vinyl in pristine condition, because when I croak, my wife can sell them on eBay and get a decent price. One thing I don't do is I don't cram them in there. I give them like room to breathe, so that when they have good spines like this, when the spine is thick, they don't get squished in. They don't, I don't squish them in. So I give them plenty of room to breathe. Here's another great spine. This is the latest from Bruce Springsteen, right there. So all the new vinyl I buy, not thrift store stuff, but the stuff I buy from independent record stores or Barnes and Nobles, will go in this area. And I'll have to move some of this down to expand, because I'm kind of done with thrift store buys now. I've got everything I need. I'll continue the hunt, and there'll be occasional stuff I will buy, but I want to focus my attention on the newer vinyl and spend less time at thrift stores and just more time listening to music. Okay, that's my vinyl room, the tour. I could do like 3 versions of it and show you more stuff, but I just want to get this video out so you can get the main part of it. Please, thank you for watching, and please subscribe. You're gonna hit the subscribe button there, and leave comments. Leave comments. You don't have to write a book, just a couple sentences, and I will reply to all comments. I'll be very interested to hear your comments and thoughts of my vinyl room. So thank you for watching. Hit the subscribe. Y'all have a good day. Bye.